So in this video I want to reflect on something I have been wondering about for the last couple of days. Of course, we have this whole pandemic situation, and it has been discussed from a variety of different perspectives, and I'm definitely not going to share any health advice in this video because there are better places to seek this kind of advice, obviously. But rather I wanted to reflect on how the whole reality and landscape of doing research may change as a result of this situation, and also what it means for us and what we can do about it now in order to get some kind of a benefit. I know it sounds horrible the way I put it, but basically to maximize opportunities from this situation. So what I mean in particular is that, of course, the situation that we are in at the moment will completely restructure the whole research reality. And what I mean in particular by this research reality is it will restructure not only methods of data collection. This one is the most probably the most obvious thing that will change. So of course any kind of physical face-to-face procedure for collecting the data, for gathering the data, like a face-to-face interview or focus groups, of course will have to be reconsidered. So this doesn't even come as a surprise. So this is the first thing that will change. Of course there are online interviews, there are online methods of gathering data, and they have been there for a while, so they have been around for maybe even a couple of decades. Telephone interviews definitely have been around for several decades, and online interviews have been gaining popularity as well. So it's nothing new. Now we have Skype, we have Zoom, we have a range of platforms and software for conducting this kind of a study. And also I've heard there are ways to conduct and organize online focus groups. So this is great. Of course there are questionnaires as well, and it seems like we still will have a choice of methods. There will be more problematic ones, of course. So if you think about ethnography, if you think about specific methods, observational methods, then of course a lot will change. But the second aspect of this research landscape that I want to talk about, so I mentioned there are several aspects that will be affected. So the first one are the methods, and like I said, it's not even something I consider to be the main issue. The main issue, what I consider to be the main issue, is what we want to research. So the whole reality, the whole social reality, the whole reality we are going to investigate. So imagine, like, the most obvious example is that I mentioned observational methods, I mentioned interviews. So imagine you are a person who wants to conduct research in an educational institution, so in a school. So of course this new situation will require us to reconsider several things, and the methods will be the least of our concern at the moment in this situation in particular, because whether we conduct online interviews or face-to-face interviews is not really a problem. But the problem is, are we still going to continue that research into the students' experiences, into the classroom, if we don't even know if classrooms as we know them will be fully functional, will be back to normal, because of course now the schools are being closed. And then even if they do function, even if there are physical so to speak lessons again, then again I don't think we can and we should pretend that nothing happened, that it's all the same. If we think about research into workplace dynamics and relationships, I don't think it's desirable to pretend that everything is still the same in this reality that we are researching, because people's interpersonal dynamics, people's perceptions and people's self-perceptions, everything will have changed as the result of the period we are going through at the moment. So again, if you think about workplace, as I said, there are two considerations here. So firstly, lots of places will close, unfortunately, because lots of people already struggle, business owners, small business owners, and this is very sad, and I really feel so sorry for all these people who are affected, not just obviously their health, but professionally and financially. So yeah, a lot of workplaces will cease to exist, but also the ones that will exist, we have to definitely remember about the things that I mentioned. So this whole new reality, subjectivity, how we perceive people, how we perceive concepts such as happiness, such as well-being, so pretty much everything. If you think about it from the perspective of theoretical worldviews, which I know most people hate to discuss, but if we talk about constructivism and how we and generally the assumptions underlying qualitative research. So I've talked about them in one of my videos, and as you know, positivists would be more they tend to assume that the reality we are investigating is something almost set in stone, and we should move away from that reality and be objective as researchers, whereas constructivists, they say it's not impossible because we are part of that reality as researchers, and all people, including us as researchers, co-construct that reality. So in this case, again, as I said already in this video, if we construct this reality, if we co-construct this reality together, we simply cannot ignore the fact that this reality in 6 months' time will be completely different from the reality nowadays. So the whole way we conceptualize the world around us will be different as well. I know it may sound confusing, I'm not even sure if you understand what I mean, but I do hope that you understand what I mean. And now to conclude, there is no real conclusion, but what I think and what I believe is that we should now at this stage we should start thinking about these things, the things that I mentioned, both the more complex and confusing theoretical considerations that I shared, but and also the considerations about research methods. So you should start thinking about it now, depending on what stage you are in, of course. Some people were unfortunate enough to have to completely abandon their studies or reconsider and restructure their studies because they have already started. Some people are only planning their studies now, so they will have to simply develop a new plan and consider the things that I discussed in this video. But also you may want to think about how to maximize, as I said, this opportunity. What else could be done? What interesting things could be done based on the considerations that I shared. So for example, you may want to start thinking about not only applying these new methods or less used methods of data collection. You may also start thinking about using that experience, your future experience of applying these methods, as some kind of material for an article, a methodological article or a book or anything where you share your experiences of applying these methods, or even the theoretical considerations that I meant, so the highly abstract theoretical considerations. Again, I'm sure they will have to be included from now on into lots of discussions of worldviews and how we approach the research reality. Again, this should not be ignored. So you may be the person who suggests these new directions and starts these new debates and these new discussions about researching this new reality. So I think you should start thinking about all these things now, just to make sure that you are prepared, just to make sure that you made the most of this situation. I mentioned in my Facebook post that I think that you should also use the time that you have now, so the time when you are advised to either self-isolate or basically to minimize your social contact with other people. I mentioned that you should also maximize this opportunity and perhaps educate yourself, read books, take some courses, but also you may use this time to properly plan your career, to properly plan your next steps, And this may include, like I said, if you are thinking about, you know, the academic side of things, this planning may include planning how to approach this reality, and how to describe it, how to use it as an opportunity for you to contribute to the future of research, essentially. So this is all I have to say in this video. If you are still here, if I didn't bore you to death with my reflections, consider subscribing to this channel, consider liking this video as well, and most importantly, I hope you're okay, I hope your families are okay, and please do not ignore the advice by NHS or any other institutions. So do not ignore the advice, be careful, and I'm sure that this will be over.